Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Madcapper and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Today I'm going to start a new kind of series that I'm going to be calling I Leveled Them So You Don't Have To. This is where I'm going to level champions that people might have some questions, might want to see, might want to just find out a build on, for example, but are a little bit afraid to put the time, resources, and energy into building these champions. My first one is going to be Pitiless One, and it was one that was asked to me by one of my subscribers in Twitch, and I thought, you know what a beautiful way to pick my first champion. So here it is. Here's Pitiless One and what he can do for you in the game. All right, so here is our Pitiless One. Let's go over his kit and talk about his abilities, and then we'll go into stats, and then we'll run him in the campaign. So his Aura is an ally crit rate in all battles by 19%. It is useful in that it is all battles, and the crit rate early game is actually a really good aura to have because a lot of champions aren't able, you get 3-star, 4-star gear early on, so to be able to boost that crit rate is going to be helpful not only for this champion, but all the champions that you happen to be using him with. I would say in dungeons, whether it's potion dungeons, artifact dungeons, and even in early game arena, he's going to be very useful as your lead because he's going to allow you to do more damage than you would otherwise. In most cases, he would be replaced as soon as you get a really good defense aura, or in some cases an HP aura, or even a top-notch attack aura. But I think until you're able to get your champions full crit rate, this is going to be an absolutely useful scenario to have, especially in, I think, an early game spider where you might have pulled an early Royal Guard or Cold Heart, but you don't quite have the gear for them. This is going to help you build that crit rate while using, say, crit damage gloves, and still be able to do both and get all the pieces that you need to be able to be successful in Spider. His A1 is an attack one enemy 2 times. It's no big deal. It's a damage based hit. Keep in mind that he's got a mechanic that this is going to be hit more times. So there is a case to be made for using War Master on him. I didn't. I used I think it's Flawless Execution, the 20% crit damage. But you could. I was wafting on it because he is using this quite a few times, and we're going to try to get him to use it as many times as possible. It might be worthwhile to get that War Master proc and get that extra damage, which of course, based off his A2, is going to happen more often because he's boosting his own turn meter. When he bursts his own turn meter, he's going to get to go multiple times, etc., etc. So his A2 here boosts himself by 15% for each critical hit on a 3-turn cooldown fully booked, and it attacks all enemies. So consider the spider where you have so many enemies. His turn meter is going to go through the roof. He's automatically going to get a second turn. If you have him on War Master, he's then going to attack the main spider and be able to hit him, or hit for good damage, as well as heal himself, and we'll get to his passive in a second. It is only boosting himself, which it has some limited usability in a team event, but at the end of the day, he is being able to generate extra turns, which is a somewhat useful ability. His passive, each critical hit heals this champion by 15% of the damage inflicted. This is where the big thing comes, is that not only is he boosting his turn meter with his A2, but as long as you're crit hitting, he's going to also heal himself. That means early game, you are not going to need necessarily lifesteal gear on this champion to be able to use him to help campaign farm. I find him to be a pretty decent farmer, which is why we're going to start him in the campaign. He's not an end game, but as long as you can get that 100% crit rate, he's going to heal himself, and he's going to be able to go through waves fairly good. Plus his magic affinity, which works in 12-3. As far as the gear, 30k, 4k attack. I wanted to make sure he was over 4k attack. I would like it to be higher, but this is what we got. Defense isn't really a big deal. Speed at 190. He's also got the ability to extra speed as he kills enemies, so that's going to help him in campaign farming. 100% crit rate, 292 crit damage. His kit doesn't need accuracy or resistance. Also, I have him, I guess we should take a quick look at him. I did put him in Relentless Gear. The reason why I wanted him in Relentless Gear is I wanted him to generate extra turns so he could get back to this projectile as much as possible. And when he goes through the campaign, it might proc an extra turn. Extra turn just means a quicker run, right? I know that a lot of people probably won't have him, and the times that you're going to be possibly using Pitiless One, it might be less useful because you won't have Relentless Gear, but who knows? A lot of tournaments you can win because no one's doing it. There you go. Boom. First wave is really good. He's going to attack and kill 2 champions. Did not get a proc off his Relentless Gear. Wow. I've now done 4 runs and not a single Relentless Gear proc. So Beating the curve, baby. Beating the curve. I feel like I'm shard pulling again. So there he is. 18 seconds is pretty standard. I think it's 14 seconds if he does take an extra turn. So pretty good. Not end game level, but if you can get 18 seconds on a champion with good gear, you know, and you don't want to build out a Bellar, or you don't have one, or you don't have one of the champions that can do it in 6-7 seconds, now at least you know you have another option. I would say he is much easier to build than, say, the Fellhound, because even though I have him in great gear, it's an overkill gear for this. You can put him in much lower gear and still clear the waves. Also, if you can't clear the waves, you can still take multiple turns. He's going to heal himself, which means he has sustainability without using lifesteal, which makes him a generally easier to build for these sort of earlier game farming when you're doing, say, 30-second, 40-second runs. I also did use him at level 50. I didn't use him in this particular stage. I should have. I apologize. I used him against Queen Eva. He was even at level 50 able to live. So just keep that in mind. Next, let's take him to dungeons. My bad. We're going to take him to the spider first, because the spider is where his mechanic is the most useful. Although, as you'll see, he's not exactly a carry in this particular position. So here's our typical setup. We'd use 2 Royal Guards. We'll just put him in the place of a Royal Guard. Keep in mind, this is a 20 to 23 second run, depending on whether Cold Heart kills on her. I'm just on that cusp of damage where I can use 3 champions to kill. So this is going to be a little bit slower, obviously. But you saw that damage. He was able to take 2 turns there because his turn meter was boosted. Also, if that came back around, he would heal himself to full with that same deal. So now here's where obviously a Royal Guard's going to be better because the spider would already be dead. But for Spiderling control, he is doing really good damage against the Spiderlings. So it is very helpful. There we go again. He took an extra turn. Again, what I was talking about, the War Master, if this is where you were trying to use him, that War Master would be helpful, because then you'd be hitting him for 100k instead of just the crit damage that you get on it. I think the 2 hit was 60,000. So and generally you'd hit him with the War Master. So 52nd, not amazing. He's not carrying you by any means. That's the thing, and that's a common theme with him in dungeons. Typically, he's not going to carry you in dungeons. Your Royal Guard can carry you in dungeons. Your Cold Heart can carry you in dungeons. From the support side, obviously both Venus and Miscreated Monster are dungeon carries, right? Sustain and debuffs. Abilities to change the outcome based on their toolkit. Pitiless One will not change the outcome based on his toolkit. But if you need a champion who can give you that extra damage, he's there for you. Same with Dragon's Lair. He's also same with Ice Golem. I don't want to run Ice Golem just because it's a pain in the ass to run, and it's a boring, stupid dungeon that I don't recommend you farm unless you absolutely have to. But where he's not going to be good is the Fire Knight and the Fire Potion dungeon, because in both those cases he's weak affinity and he needs that crit for his whole mechanic to work. So if you accidentally are using him, then he's going to weak hit. It means he's not going to heal, which means he's going to be dummied. Especially when I've got 30k health on him. That's not exactly a lot of health for him to be survivable. But he's doing yeoman's work against the waves. You can see he's hitting very well. He's not your top damage dealer in the waves, but he's still doing a serviceable job. Here it's a little bit less. I mean, he's hitting 50,000, but Draco's poisons hit 50k. So, he's doing okay. He's assisting. He's not going to carry your dungeon, but he's a good nuking option to assist you in the dungeon. And we'll see, once you see the damage, it's like 1.2 million, right? He's with everyone else. The difference is none of them were kill shots. None of them were big hits on the boss. It was all just clearing waves. So it's just adding damage. So again, if you have 4 really good champions, you're trying to figure out that 5th to speed run, he's going to help you. But as you can see, he's not going to be an end game speed run either. My best time 38. I'm usually in the 40s. This was 51, so a lot slower. That's the common theme with them. There to assist, but not to be the main guy. Okay, the next place I'm going to show you is the arena. This is my typical farming team. It's a little bit difficult for me to find something to farm because I'm a little bit higher. I was kind of pushing plat yesterday. But generally, I would use Biggin here. But I do need that defense down weaken for my Pitiless One for him to kind of succeed as much as possible. So we'll show you what sort of thing we can go here. Okay, that's not a problem. We are solution oriented, not babies. So there's the defense down weaken. Here comes his A2. See what kind of damage he can do. Again, really good damage, I would say. Obviously, that's going to happen. But you could see that was a pretty darn good team. And we were able to nuke them down, kill them all. He is and can hit very well. The only thing I'll say is typically by the time you're at the point where you can end game build him, you've probably got better champions that are more useful in the arena and have a better overall kit. Does his A2 hit hard? Yes. Is it good against Rotos? No, it's a single hit. His A1 doesn't hit hard enough to kill Rotos. So he does have some limited usefulness. He can do nuke damage, but most of you are probably going to have better champions to do the exact same thing. Keep that in mind. Overall, what do I think of Pitiless One? I kind of pity him. And here's why. He is a typical template of these earlier champions. I assume he was built relatively early in Plarium's game cycle because his bland, epic skill set is got some neat stuff, but not enough to be economically viable and usable in the mid to end game. Early game, 100%. Take him to 50. You can use him to farm champions. You can use his aura to help you with crit rate. You can use him in arena, bronze, silver. He will absolutely do yeoman's work for you. He can do good damage. He has a nice kit to assist. But once you start getting into those higher level dungeons, those higher level arenas, and of course the clan boss, he falls off hard. And that's why I probably would say a strong hold, a strong vault on him. He is just a vault champion. He's not going to do enough for you unless you do not have a nuking champion and you have no other options. He, as you can see in the arena, with the right gear, can do work for you. So in that limited place where you need either an assist in dungeons, you just need that second nuker. You saw he was able to do damage. If you need that aura to be able to just, build the proper Cold Heart and or Royal Guard, he's got the aura for it. He can sustain himself, so you don't need lifesteal on him. So he does have some limited usefulness if you've just had shitty account luck, basically is what I'm trying to say. But for most of you, he's not going to be a build. That said, how do I think that he would become more useful? With only one change, I think that the outlook of this champion would change drastically in all areas of the game, including Spider 20. And the change I would make is this skill right here. If this skill had one small word added, and an apostrophe taken away, this would be an epic to use. Each critical hit boosts all champions turn meter by 15%. That's all they got to do. Change it from a single boosting his own to boosting all champions. Imagine the usefulness of Pitiless One if he could boost everyone by 15% per crit hit. Spider, you give everyone an extra turn because you'll boost them above 100%. So you use all your champions, he goes last, he boosts everyone, they get a second turn. You can run them slower and hit harder and still be able to take their 2 hits. Your Cold Heart can use her A2 on auto, then her A3. Your Royal Guard will, he'll get an extra chance to hit, right? You'll get an extra round of stuff to turn meter reduce if you're using a burn strategy. He would be absolutely useful in many different situations in the Spider. Same with dungeons, getting an extra round of hits in all the dungeons that he'd be useful. And in the arena, to be able to boost everyone by 75% because it's 15 per, right? Oh, sorry, 60%. I was thinking dungeons. 60% in the arena. That would be amazing, and he would be then a viable, useful champion in situations. Would he be endgame? No. Would he be broken? No. But he would give you a mechanic, an additional mechanic to do work. And that's what we want from our epic champions. We want to be able to build them to do work. We don't want them to be legendary champions, right? You've got your Madame Saris. Yeah, endgame champion. Probably should be a legendary. She's so good. Miscreated monster. But we don't need that. We just need situations where we can build a champion and they can do work for us. Change this champion. Let him do work. Free the Pitiless One. So, overall final score, I give him a hard pass for now. But hopefully with just a quick, small little Plarium love, he could be useful in the future. Early game, free to play, that sort of thing. He is absolutely viable, but I wouldn't take him past 50. I would not use books on him unless he gets some kind of buff like the one I mentioned. I hope that helped you. I hope it gives you a better perspective on what Pitiless can do, will do, and might be able to do if Plarium ever decided to change him. If this was useful for you, please let me know. Please give me comments down below in the comments. Let me know, what champion do you want to see next? Is there a champion you've always wondered about? Is there something I can show you on these champions? I'll build them so that you don't have to. Please keep it to epics and up. I don't want to be doing rares. Obviously, I have to have the champion to be able to build them out. And don't ask me, hey, what do you think about Valkyrie? There's 1,000 guides. These are about champions that you may not want to build or you're scared to build. I'll build them for you. Also, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to build the channel out. I'm also doing Twitch 4 days a week. So please visit me on Twitch. Please visit me here. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Be kind to one another. And we will see you in the next video. Oh, quick public service announcement. I am on vacation starting tomorrow, so I will not be putting any Twitch content out until mid-next, the week after. So I'm out of town and my laptop just can't quite stream. But I will be putting out some content on my YouTube channel because I'm going to do a couple different videos of this. So I'll have some 3 or 4 videos I'll be able to put out in the next week and a half till I'm back. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day. We'll see you in the next video.